Good morning. Welcome to Modern Homestead, Alaska. I'm Jessica, and you are in my massive food pantry. It's also doubles as our laundry room. This room is right off of our kitchen, and it is what we're working on this week, and I have completely destroyed my house in order to clean this room, do new paint, and get everything back in order. And I thought I would take you along for the ride. Won't you join us? So this room is over 16 feet long. It has two sides. I think you can kind of see that in the camera. And we built this pantry. It's one of the first things that we built. And it was not part of the original designs or floor plan. In fact, we stole a good chunk of the kitchen and some other stuff in order to have this pantry. And it being one of the first things that we built, it is huge, but it is also, it was filthy. Here's kind of some photos of yesterday showing how dirty everything gets because it's open shelving, and also how nice and clean once it is all touch up and repainted and everything is looking amazing. But let me show you right now what emptying one side of this pantry, because I can only do half at a time. Let me show you why. This is our eat-in dining room. The jars in this box alone are stacked 3 high. The entire table, my rolling cart, we just have stuff even into the window seal, the black boxes that go on top, and it's overflowed into my entire coffee table. Is half-gallon jars with crud and stuff stacked on top. Moving to our kitchen. It looks like I am just like the messiest person ever, but this is literally everything with the exception of some clean dishes. But even here, every single rack, I do need to feed my family, so I do have some dishes there. Even this, everything is jars. Jars and jars and jars. The food storage, the entire island here. That's 13 by 3. Even the wood cook stove. Jars on jars on jars. So this is why I can only do half of that pantry at a time. But I thought it was so wild to just show you everything that goes in just half of that pantry. If you were to lay it out in a kitchen or a dining room or something like that, it is massive, the amount of square footage that this is taking. Look, all the way over there. I mean, oils and vinegars and sprinkles and boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff. So here's where we're at. Let's get started with today's project. I just went through a little coffee. So here's the ladders I'm using. I just scooted the 2-gallon buckets over this way. We're gonna wash everything, super scrub this room, and then I haven't even touched this side. Like all of this gets to be dealt with after we get this side done and put back. So we start with trim, that's done, that's what you're looking at here, and then we go to the ceilings. I don't know if you can see it, but look at what poor shape those ceilings are in. So we are going to, I don't know, we might have to drape some plastic over this side. I think I'm gonna have to do that. I might have to remove more stuff. Where is it gonna go? What floor am I going to put my food on? Okay, I have to figure this out. I wanted to just do half of the room, but because we're painting ceilings, I don't want to paint the ceilings twice. We have to figure out something to do with all this stuff. I think to do the ceilings, I have to remove everything from just the top. We'll drape some plastic over this. And then this side doesn't have too terribly much trim. So these came painted, the cabinets, they have a coating on them, so those will just get scrubbed. There's a little trim on the floor right under the folding table that you can't even see right now, and a little trim over here. And I'm just not gonna worry about that for a minute. These have a coating. That side was painted. The shelves here come with this laminate, whatever it is on it. These were wood, like a heavier duty wood. They hold more jars. We probably should have done that over here, but you know, live and learn. These do not sway at all under the weight. They are pretty fantastic. So anywho, I have to cover at least the washer and dryer. The dryer's running, but when I go to cover it up, I'll shut all that off. But yeah, I think I have to get it. I got everything off the top. I've taped some plastic. I'm just doing the ceiling, so it should be fine. There's some plastic down there. I don't want to waste a whole bunch of it. So I'll just scoot it down and paint it. But I'm gonna have to paint the ceilings in the dark because I've got to take the light fixtures down, and I don't want the light like shining in my eyes. So I gotta pop off the 3 overhead lights, and then we should be able to get the ceiling done, and then we'll move on to the rest. All right, I got it painted. So the ceiling is done. I washed the covers and got all of the walls. Okay, so because I did the ceiling and I already had the plastic, I did the upper half of that wall. Now all this has to get done tomorrow, this side. And the whole ceiling is done. There's kind of some shadows in there. It makes it a little bit hard. However, you can see the walls are done, the trim is done, and the ceilings are finished. This is wet paint. So I just finished this chunk. There's not a ton of airflow in the room, so I think I'll run up and grab a fan. And I have been trying to get everything kind of at a wrapped up point at 6 o'clock each night. Oops. So my goal with all of that is to have a normal evening, to hang out with Aaron, to have dinner together, like just normal family stuff. And so trying to get at a stopping point, because I'm normally someone that would just truck through this project literally until it's done, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And that isn't the best thing for me, for my health and sanity and the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to pull tape first. And then, because you want to pull tape when it's wet and then see if there's any touch-up that's going to need to happen. And with that, I think I'm going to start cleaning the jars and the lids to the bucket. and then take my time for the next 2 hours, and anything that needs to be filled up to get ready to go back into place, I think I'm gonna deal with that. It amazes me how dusty and dirty everything can get. I do not have room in my kitchen, so I just took a scrub brush, some soap, pulled off all of the 2-gallon lids, scrubbing them, and then rinsing. So instead of just sticking the buckets back, I've decided to hand scrub. I do not do this very often with as much mud and dirt and muck as we get around here. And I'll have to do the center again, of course, when I'm done with the other half of the room. But I don't want to put the buckets back without super scrubbing the floors. So now that the walls and the trim and everything is completely nice and beautiful and clean, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna take a second and super scrub the floors and then the buckets. So the lids are drying, all of that is fine. And so I just need to get this house back in order. It has just been forever since it has been at a level that I want it to be at. So I decided really quick, get the floors done. And I'm gonna have to do that chunk tomorrow. But I have clean soapy water. I'm drying all of the lids as I'm putting them on. It is amazing. It has been already 2 hours and I have got to finish getting the lids back on these buckets. So I'm just using clean water to wipe each one completely down like this. I think it's like the static. But oh my gosh, to completely scrub the house from top to bottom, get the walls, the trim, the paint, the ceiling, every single thing done. It's gonna take, I think I estimated 9 weeks. Like, that sounds crazy, but on Mondays I have been just re-cleaning what I've already gotten done, and then planning videos and doing YouTube office stuff and all of that, and then starting in on that week's projects on Tuesday. And then on the weekends, Aaron and I have been working together to try and get a whole bunch of stuff done outside before it completely melts and turns spring. But it is already 6 o'clock and I've gotten 7 of the buckets done, and I have 3, 6, 9, 21 more to go. So I'm just grabbing the lids. I don't want to get water into whatever I'm storing in these buckets. So I am giving the lids a little dry, making sure mostly that this side, but I turn them all this side upside down. The top I can dry off, that is fine. But just making sure that everything before I put it together. And then I kind of like to organize my buckets down here in a way of what we use the most. So I left the tea to the side here because that's something we're gonna use really, really frequently. And then like the quinoa pasta, I'm not gonna use that as much. So I'm just gonna run it around the edge. See, the buckets are lined. They're clean on the inside. The lids just needed a scrub. They collect dust and dirt, and then once I seal the lid down, I can then scrub the outside of the bucket. Let me see. 27 2-gallon buckets done. The last thing I want to do tonight, I had planned on wiping all the jars. We're going to get to that. Plus, there's a little bit of wet paint, and then I see like one mark I need to touch up tomorrow. A couple of things like that. But because I think it'll be a year before all of this wood is exposed again, I'm going to use some feed-in wax. This is a beeswax orange oil. It's all of our exposed like live edge wood throughout the house. We don't like seal it with anything. We just use a wax like this and just kind of get it on there and rub it in, and I just clean it, you know, like regular wipe it down, but I just don't want any chemicals on it because it comes in contact with food. So a big dollop of this. So you just get the wax and oil in there, and it just conditions. But this also doesn't need a sealer because it's not getting like water and things like that. In fact, it just only gets like clean periodically, but we're not eating off of it, if that makes any sense. So, and it literally like drinks it up. It's already so dry here in Alaska, and then everything that's been caused was due to our wood stoves, and then just being, you know, a homestead property that's on a dirt road and dirt driveway and lots and lots of dogs and people in and out, those sort of things. So this used to, you see it changes, like that used to sit flat on there. It's fine. They're double attached. They're bolted into the wall, and then they sit on this. But yeah. Good morning, friends. We are back for day 2 in the video, day 3 of work in the pantry, and I wasn't quite sure, so I showered up. I didn't know how I wanted to get today done. Had coffee with Cody over FaceTime. Cody is my only daughter, and I had to wait for my overalls to dry. I went ahead and threw them in the washer. When I did my closet, bunny trail, here we go. When I did my closet, every time we dumped it out to do a different part of the closet, and then we'd have to put everything back in order to go to bed, Aaron and I literally filled the entire back seat of our pickup truck with bags and bags that we took for donation. And so I have these for paint, but there isn't paint on any of my other clothes, so I'm stuck wearing the same outfit day after day. So I have about 3 undershirts that will work. This one was the thinnest one. It was so hot in there yesterday. Oh my goodness. So here's what I think I'm gonna start with this morning. I have my rolly cart. Ignore the vibrating. I do have to run the washer and dryer because we're gonna unplug it, and I needed all the laundry done. I put everything on here, and this was the last load, and so I might as well start by putting all of the first load back. I came over to the sink, filled up a bucket of soapy water. I have some towels here. I'm gonna use gloves because it just destroys my hands, and with gardening and everything else that we're doing, my hands are just super dried out. So I'm gonna try and wear gloves and then dry stuff off, and I think I'll just do one rolly cart at a time, and we'll just get everything put back into the pantry. And now I'm having to guess what you guys want. Do you want to see everything as we put it back, or do you just want to see the overall and leave it in the comment section? We'll see if I did it right or wrong, but I was just trying to figure out what's the best way to film this. And I think because I've never ever showed you every single thing, 2 things I want to do for the video. I want to count how many jars we actually put back into the pantry to give you an idea of what and how much. And then I thought I would quickly say each item as I put it back. So that's kind of my thoughts. We'll see if that works out. Let's get to cleaning first. I've been putting a little, this is not my favorite one. I had bought this for Aaron before my friends started making lotion bars, but I'm out of the lotion bar. But I've been putting a little lotion on underneath the gloves, trying to just help my hands through the painting and everything else that we do. So now we got our lotion and our gloves. Now we can get to So this is gonna be perfect for a couple of reasons. I condense things. If I had multiples, got rid of some things that maybe had just expired, they were gone. I forgot that they were back there, whatever it was. One of them was like a jerky seasoning that we've had since Arizona, and mostly because it's salt-based, it was fine, but we hated it. It was awful. And it was open, and so you can't like donate it or give it away or whatever. So I just decided to get rid of some stuff. So this size jar fills the smaller jelly size jars in my kitchen. And then these are things that we don't use a ton of. And so that's why they're in quarts instead of half gallons. And here is what we have. Whole cloves. Let's see. Sage leaves. Couscous, I want to put this someplace else. Cayenne pepper, chopped onion, whole yellow mustard. I'm going to put this to the side because I'm not keeping this in the kitchen right now. And I have this in a half gallon. I'll see if it fits and then I can get rid of one size jar. Pumpkin pie spice, some whole cinnamon sticks, same thing. I'm gonna set those to the side for a second, see if I can get them in a half gallon and get rid of one. So cilantro. What I'm gonna try and do is like keep the green things together. Marjoram. Let's see, here's another green thing. Parsley, like so. And then over here will be like some canning, salt things. So someone's asked me, this is pink curing salt. You need that with some jerkies and different things. We don't really use it. We tried to switch away from that, but sometimes it calls for it. Morton Tender Quick, that's another curing thing for meats and so on. Some sea salt, I want that up front because I want to start using that. Citric acid, I have 2 of these. Citric acid, same thing, it's for curing. I know there's another one. Where did it go? There we go. Citric acid. Let me see here. Tomato bouillon. I know that I have some beef bouillons. Let's see. Whole spices again. This one's allspice. Let's go here. Let's see. Beef bouillon. I have a bunch of chicken as well. Here with those. So just trying to not only group like sizes, but like things together. Whole allspice. I'm gonna go here. The powders. Maybe the onions can go there. Nutmeg. Dill weed. Let's put that there. Dill seed. Oregano, rosemary. This is beef bouillon from AZURE. It's gonna go here. I love that stuff. Same with the mushroom soup mix. I get this from AZURE as well. And then here's some pickling spice. We're gonna put that by the curing things. I'm on my next round, but this right here, is all of the jars that we have downsized, pulled together. These actually had a jelly in them that didn't work out. It never set. It was really awful. It had some sediment in the bottom, and so they just got tossed. And so I cleaned all of the jars, but so far we've almost filled an entire rack with empty jars when we get to canning season. And then I also have been doing some so that we can go through it. So this is chicken bouillon. Let's see, beef bouillon. This one I get from AZURE as well. I can link AZURE if you're interested in where I get most of the spices. This is some pickling salt, so that'll go by the salts. Let's see, the poppy seed. I want to do nuts and seeds someplace else, so let me pull those to the side. The same as the roasted pumpkin and chicken flavored bouillon. I got that from AZURE. And then I think that's it for right now that goes on this rack. All of these spices here, we kind of call them errand spices. Maybe there's a couple of other little things in there, but they're just odd. We only have one of each of them because we don't use them very frequently, but they are things that I like to have on hand. My daughter makes a ton of Indian food, so lemon pepper, coriander, let's see, some Old Bay seasoning if we want like a Creole type thing, cardamom. Little goes a long way. You don't need a ton of that in stock, plus it's not something I would get. Celery salt. I use that in my chicken salad, but I don't really use it on anything else. Onion salt, I use this one in something that I make around the holidays, so I don't need a ton of that. These are my homemade salts. I think, yep, we're gonna go here. So this is a garlic. So from my garlic scapes out of my garden, we made a salt out of that. And I think I'm gonna put this one here. This is out of the onion tops, the green tops that we freeze dried up, mix them with salt. That's an onion salt. So there we go. And then Creole and Old Bay, sorry. Those are different. Oh, turmeric. The turmeric needs to go up here. And then, let me see. These are my husband's, and some of these were gifts and things that we got to try from Trader Joe's. So they're kind of store packaged. Even though a lot of times I decant, these my husband goes through. They're his favorite, Meat Church. And so I just gave him this rack. He's so tall, he can just grab all of it. So let me get the step stool to put those up there. Hopefully you can see me. It isn't a big deal. So fajita is one he loves. This, the Holy Cow, I use that on brisket, things like that. Let's see, barbecue rub, that one's good on pork. The Holy Voodoo is one of the family favorites. That one gets used quite a bit. The Blanco, he gets some of these at Lowe's, the home improvement store. So he loves that one. Then let's see here. Here's some weird things. I think this was a gift from one of you guys. Alaska salmon. You can buy this all over up here. It really is good on salmon. Sriracha seasoning. I don't even know where that came from, but it's good till 2026, so we're fine. Trader Joe's ketchup, sriracha. Let's see. Oh, Three Bears, that's our local fish taco seasoning. I got this from one of you guys. That's for yellow chicken. Nona's. This is a gift as well. I've used it several times. Garlic spread. Never opened it, but I think it's like a Mediterranean season you make garlic bread out of. That up there. Oh, mother-in-law's. This was a gift. Erin loves this. And then some black garlic from Trader Joe's. This is some pickle crisp granules. And then this is vanilla beans. Let me straighten that out. All right, can you see me? Okay, so these are real, we only use them a little bit, so they go way up here. The 1/2 gallon jars. So we'll start with cinnamon sticks. I did go ahead and get as many out of here and fill that in as I can, and I think I'll be able to finish filling that in. Lemon peel. So these are dried lemon and then dried orange. So next, mustard. So brown mustard seed. And then we should have some yellow mustard. So I don't have enough space, so this mustard seed is gonna have to go here. That works. Let me see what I wanna do. Okay, some pickle seasoning. Italian dressing, so you just mix this up with some oil and water and it makes a salad dressing, as well as I have a ranch one that we get from AZURE. You can just put that in sour cream or with milk and mayonnaise. It makes like a whole thing. So here's an odd seasoning. So this is a pit barrel. It goes along with these, but when Aaron bought it, it just came in a huge amount. That goes here. Let's see. And then all of our corn products go up here. So we have masa. We have polenta. We have popcorn. And then we have grits. Same thing. So 2 of them. These are 5-minute grits for breakfast. They're great. You see, and then I need to fill this in the basement with cornmeal. Regular old cornmeal. Okay. I think I have some things that don't go here, but this one does. So it's more citric acid. You use that in canning. And then garam masala. So this is my daughter's, but we don't keep it down here to easily refill because we know we have it up there when it is time to can. And then these are green chilies, dried green chilies. And then dried jalapenos. Okay, so we have space for 2 more. So each one of these will hold 21 jars. These will hold 34 quarts. So this is how the spices come from AZURE, and I had them sitting in there on the shelf and I needed to refill. This is Montreal steak seasoning. We call it rancher steak rub at our house. I think that was the original name. But once you open their bulk spices, they don't reseal. And so you kind of have to have, and that's part of how, and why I love AZURE, because we just open them up. They go into the jars. The jars seal up really well. They'll keep for a super long time. And then we are able to kind of work the system. But the rack that I'm on in the pantry is the spices that are up here. So instead of just sticking it all in there and then running out here, I started dumping all of our kitchen spices, refilling all of these from the big spices so that I have it just done. And everything that goes in there, when we leave the kitchen, it's all completely full and finished. And I think that is when I get to cleaning the kitchen, refilling the kitchen, that is gonna be perfect. So I just wanted to kind of show you how the AZURE spices come. So this is white cheddar that goes on like popcorn. And then one more, this is a white popcorn from AZURE. They're gonna fill out the top row and then it is full. So 21 jars already. Now the next row. So I just showed you in my kitchen how this set of jars are used. I call them my daily spices. So the half gallon fills the quart, then we fill the half gallon and so on. And we have done this several times on the channel, but here's everything we have. So rosemary, Italian blend. So this, you can buy an Italian blend, but what ends up happening is everything from rosemary, oregano, all of these different kind of spices that I like to work together, I end up just mixing them, but there is an Italian blend. And then parsley. So I like to kind of color coordinate as we go. This is thyme. Let's see. And then sweet basil. And let's go in next with the black peppercorns. Oh, nope. Let's go with the bay leaves. All right, black pepper. Let's go rancher steak rub. We just filled that one up together. And with that, everything but the bagel looks good. That I have to get at Costco. So garlic salt, we do get this garlic salt at Costco, but I think I'm gonna switch to AZURE seems to have one now. And then let's do garlic powder with that, as well as, I'm looking around, onion powder. I like to put those two together. Hot chili powder, AZURE. And then regular chili powder, as well as paprika. All of those. Really? I'll do the oregano in the back. We don't use a ton of that. Let's do ground mustard with the ginger. And then let's do my favorite, cumin. Red pepper flakes. We go through this more than anything else. Cinnamon, daily in the coffee. All right, so these fill everything that goes into the kitchen. If you're keeping count, we are at 42 half-gallon jars so far. We're gonna move here. The microwave goes here. I never wanted a microwave. I've talked about this before, but my grandma uses it constantly. I just need to clean it sitting there, but using this open space for a minute is working. Normally, this is peas and beans. Because my husband is doing carnivore and I'm doing Whole30, we cannot have legumes right now. So I'm going to move them to where this rack normally is. My grandmother and my son eat pasta constantly, even though Aaron and I are not, and it just makes it easier to grab things. And I realized after a while, I really intentionally grab beans and peas and those sort of things, but all of a sudden I'll run in here and I am too short to reach back there, and I'm 5'8" tall. My daughter is 5'10". Everyone needs a rack to get to the back of that, and so I will intentionally grab beans and peas when I want them, but we grab tons of pasta. So rice and pasta and some other things are what's gonna go here, and I'll start you off. This is panko breadcrumbs, and then we have breadcrumbs. Where are you? And then we have regular breadcrumbs, and with those, I'm gonna put something weird, which is, where are you? Almond flour. So those three things there. Then let's go in with the quinoa. We have black quinoa. Love it. We have multicolored quinoa, and we have the white quinoa. Love that for salads in the summer. Then let's see. What I'm trying to figure out as I do this is, do I still want, okay, so pastas, when we open the box of pasta and we don't use all of it, we just stick it in these jars. They're just different kinds. And then I really do go through them pretty quickly. There should be one more for egg noodles. Let me find it. But we'll move on. So these are rice pastas for like Asian soups and such. So those two go. And then rice. Arborio. This is instant rice. Wyatt loves that. He'll make it for himself. I don't personally care for it, but who cares? Jasmine. And then long grain white rice is used the most at our house, as well as Calrose. It's like really good with like Creole type things. So put those rices there, and then let me figure something out. I found the jar I was looking for. Okay, moving things a third time. Just this way. And we will go back up. The egg and noodles. There we go. Okay, so pasta here. Pasta is this first row, and then rice and rice related. So the rice pastas. Two of those. They're different size. All right, friends. Beans, peas, and lentils. These are an absolute favorite. Not only do I love these, but I think they're just such an incredible item to stockpile for a couple of reasons. The shelf life can be up to 30 years, depending on how you store these. Long-term food storage, excellent items. But the other thing is I even took the time to like print out the nutritional difference between all of the different things, and the same vitamins are not in all of the same beans. So having a variety, and it is a cheap, easy food. So we'll just start out with the lentils. So we have a couple different colors on those. So lentils. Then I'll get some up there. So see, like, look at these. They're both lentils. They're totally different colors and size, all of that. And then let me see what I'm gonna put next to it. Okay, peas. Peas. Okay, so these are green split peas. What do we got? Let me layer those with these. Okay, so these are navy beans. These are baby lima beans. And these are yellow split peas. Oops. Okay, what's next? 1, 2, 3. Sounds good to me. Okay, so red beans. I have 3 different kinds. Small red beans, and then actually I have 4. And then these are a light red bean, and one of these is totally different. So let's get all this up there. Let's do pintos. Pintos we use a ton of. Then black beans, right? Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, black beans. And then, let's see, we have cannellini beans, butter, I think, maybe lima beans, some people call butter beans, I don't know. Split, black-eyed peas, and then garbanzo. Perfect. We're up to 84 half-gallon jars. This rack is normally jelly. Give me a minute. I don't know if I want to go there again because I think I want it to go here, and just hold that thought. So the baking bay of the pantry is actually going to get 63 half-gallon jars. So they're all kind of mixed in. They're just strung across the kitchen. And so I will just start putting them in where they get used the most. And I think I'm going to switch some stuff around. But here's some things I have. Baking powder. Oh, sorry, I lied. That's powdered sugar. Baking powder as well. Let me see. This is baking soda. Okay, and then start in dark chocolate chips. So 2 jars of those. And then I like to put the dark cocoa behind them. Semi-sweet. Sweet, and then white chips. So this is a white chocolate mix. Put that in the back. See if I can't find the right ones. Come in here. I thought I'd do fruits down here. Let's see. We have fig, dry fig, dry peaches, dates. Let's do nuts here. So these are like a candied, I wanted to say pecan. It's not a pecan. Cashew. Candied cashews. Oh, I love those. Almonds. I store nuts mostly in the freezer. I do keep some in the pantry, but I don't keep a ton of them. Oh, here we go. Bunch of different chips. These, what are those? I forget what those chips are called. Okay, so chocolate covered coffee. I have to move some stuff around. Blueberries. I decided to move some stuff around. We'll go through that in just a second. But the dark chocolate is here. We have super dark cocoa. Get that slid in. So I knew where to find it. And that is what matters. And then the semi-sweet, we'll get regular cocoa powder behind it. Totally different colors on the cocoa. Then the white chocolates, we will get the white Ghirardelli chocolate and then the 2 things of white chips. And what is amazing is this keeps me so organized during baking season. It's the off season right now. I still have not remembered what these chips are called. These are mint chocolate chunks. And I have one more special dark chocolate. We'll do that up front. Then let's see here. I have another Ghirardelli. This is a hot cocoa mix. I think I'll move that to the side here because I have some other cocoa mixes. Actually, not cocoa season, so that'll go back there behind. These are chocolate covered coffee beans. I don't know if I said that. I love those. You get them at the coffee shop up here, but you can buy them at 3 Bears. Forgot I was running the dryer, so if that was annoying earlier, sorry. I think I have more dried fruit than anything. I think there may be 21 jars. So starting over, dates. And And I think I have another one. Apricots. Those are figs. Hold that thought, we'll come back to it. Figs. I know you have 2 of those. Here we go. These are dried peaches. I know I have another one. Dried peaches. Let's do blueberries. So these are from AZURE. They're organic. They're amazing. These are Kirkland. So from Costco. And I thought I had a third blueberry. I do. So these are the organic ones. So I have a full and a half. So those are all blueberries. That works. Ah, there we go. Some dates. So I knew I had 3 jars of those. I don't have 3 jars of figs, but I do have some raisins. So we'll put raisins in front of the figs. I don't have any more peaches, but let's do something fun. These are bananas. Let's put the bananas in front. Let's figure out. Dried cranberries. I have some more dried cranberries. So those look a lot like raisins. Let's put some, I get these apricots. Normally when you buy dried apricots, they're kind of a golden color. I guess that's like a chemical that they use. When I get them from AZURE, they're this dark brown color. Those are beautiful. We got cherries and dried them ourselves last year. So I have 2 jars of the dried cherries. Let me see. Oh, goji berries. These are good. Put those up there. Let's see. That's the blueberries. Let me see. Oh, peaches. I might have already mentioned those, but I pulled those down. I ended up with 2 jars of those. And then 1 of the mango. So these will be the last that I can, okay. These, do you know what that is? They're mulberries. They taste super simple, similar to a date. They're kind of dry and chewy. And then these are bananas, dried bananas. And then, actually I'm gonna move the elderberries up top because elderberries have to be cooked and I make syrup out of them. This is, let's do this. Okay, coconut. Is that a dried plant? It is today. So I think I'll do the nuts next to the chocolate. So we have peanuts, pecans, just a little bit. Like I said, I keep them in the freezer. What are these? Pistachios, right? Some pistachios, almonds, the candied nuts that I showed you. And then I'm going to put an empty jar here because I do need to bring some walnuts up out of the freezer. And then we will go up top 21 more jars. All right, we're almost done with the jars. I'm going to start with the drink mixes. This is almost gone. I hope Costco puts it back out. It is hot cocoa and it had candy canes in it, so peppermints. And then we're almost out of regular hot cocoa. And then this one is like espresso type. I don't know that it's not espresso. You'll tell me. It's a drink mix. Anyway, and then this one is Tang. I just kind of like to have drink mixes. Mostly we just keep water on hand at home. And then the baking stuff. So, well, let me start with the wheat products. So cream of wheat, kind of some breakfast type hot cereals. Malto meal, same. Same, some sort of breakfast cereal. That one might be grits. It might need to go over there. Anyway, another cream of wheat. Let's do 2 of those together. Let me see. Another hot breakfast along the same lines as that. And then these are hemp hearts. This is gelatin, unflavored gelatin. And we also have some pectin. Even though it's for canning, the gelatin's not, but the pectin is. I keep it over here instead with salt. That's just the way my brain works. You just have to have everything or I can reach it while I'm talking to you. So arrowroot powder, that's a thickening agent. Kind of like cornstarch. So I'll keep those 2 together. And then this is baking powder. And we have baking soda. I have 2 of those. Because when you open the big Costco bags of them, they go super far. I like to put it in the bathroom, the laundry rooms, and in the baking section. I'm gonna put the elderberries at the back because I'll specifically look for those, not by the dried fruit. This is wonderful when you need buttermilk. This is dry buttermilk powder, and then we have regular milk powder in the basement. Powdered sugar, as well as one more baking powder. Let me see. Do the powdered sugar in the front, and then I'll do the full baking powder behind the half used one. That is it. Another 21 jars. So far we've put up 147 jars of, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 147 half-gallon jars in just this section of the pantry. Oh my gosh, you guys. So we're on this very short rack right here. So half gallon, this small one in between. It also holds a bunch of baking stuff because I called this whole section my baking section. So we're going to start with some almond bark. We have the chocolate, the brown chocolate because it's almond, and then the white. And then I have a bunch of chocolate bars for baking. So baker's chocolate. So we have 4 of the semi-sweet, and then 2 of the German, and then 2 of the unsweetened, and then 2 white chocolates. And then I think I'm gonna do, let me see. We have a bunch of additional extracts. So a ton of extracts go here. Maybe I'll put them here. I'll put them back where they were because I would look for them here. I do like to keep them kind of contained. All right, so extracts. And then normally, this whole box is sprinkles, and they were here, but I think I want to do jellies there. So I'm going to do the sprinkles here. The box seemed to work pretty well. So now I have a bunch of flavored puddings and jellos. So try to put like with like up here. So chocolate all together, then vanilla. And then here are some more pectins. I might just slide those in right here for when we're canning. There's another chocolate. So we have 4 chocolates, 3 vanillas, some pistachio, 4 pistachio puddings. Then I have 2 big lime jellos. We use those during the holidays as well. And then just some others. If someone were to get sick, my grandma likes jello with like canned fruit in it. So anything like that. Here we go. So I have 3 orange and 1 strawberry. We don't use a ton of this, so I don't need a super bulk up, but there we go. So look at that. All the chocolates, my extracts, jellos, and puddings, and then all of my sprinkles. I'll see if there's anything else that's supposed to go in the baking section and see if I can fill in. And then I just shove those pectins right there because I know that the pectins are already up here. So when it is canning season, we make some new jellies. That'll work. I still have a ton of stuff to move in here. So right here, this entire box is homemade jellies. Then there's another box of jellies. Some are store-bought on that one, but I'm going to just start with this weirdly thin shelf here, this rack, and there's a couple that are tall. Let me see if they'll fit. Everything's gonna fit just fine. So we'll do this on fast forward, but this first set, and I'll show you when I'm done, is fireweed. There's some mint, some other things. We'll do this on fast forward, and then I'll tell you what all is up here. Oh my goodness, so far I have 9 mint jellies. Those came from our own mint plants that we grew. 1, 2, 3, 4 store-bought red plums. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 32, 33 jars of homemade cherry. That's the whole fruit. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fireweed. And I still have way more jellies to go. Okay, so let's put some odds and ends up here. Here is a grape. And then I have, it's a big one. I have all these. Some, like, these are Alaska, like a mixed different jellies. So I'll just stick those. They're fun to take, like, picnics and lunches. But I need somewhere to just tuck all of these little bitty jelly jars in. All kinds. Now we have a full jelly shelf. I have more jellies. Don't you worry. There's a variety. So cute. There are all kinds. That's honey. A little jar of honey. How cute is that? Marmalade. All right, so back with the cart. More jellies, honey, and then like corn syrup. I think all of that is gonna go here, and maybe some ice cream toppings. We'll just see what we can get fitted in. We have a bunch. This is homemade strawberry rhubarb. I don't normally stack, but the situation is what it is. Okay, so strawberry rhubarb, And then a couple of odd ones. This one was a gift. It's a watermelon horseradish sauce. And then one more strawberry rhubarb. Then right here, Destiny's grandma is the biggest forager I've ever met. And these are a mixed berry. They have everything from like raspberries that she foraged for, maybe some blueberry. I know that there's some fireweed in there. Just the most Alaskan jelly ever. And she always, Destiny and her grandma always gift me jellies. And I love it. And this whole box, that's more of those. Okay. And then this one is her dad's. Grandma and mom forage wild Alaska blueberries, and then I got a bunch of blueberry jam. It's my favorite. Cherry, apricot are some of my favorites, but this Alaska blueberry jelly, it's the whole fruit. This is amazing. So those are gifts. Blueberry, wild berries, those sort of things. And then we just have some odds. A hot pepper bacon jam. Then some more cherry. My mom did these. My grandma loves these. Let's see. Okay, so we have a ton of cherry up there. And before I made those, I had stocked up on some cherry. So we have some store-bought and then some home canned. And now, oh, here's a giant raspberry. Stick that there. So I have a super obsession with honey. These are rare Hawaiian honeys, but I like to buy like a giant thing of it. I also have 5-gallon buckets of honey. So these are some nectars. But they really truly all have different flavors. So that's mesquite, and this is one of the white golden honeys. Another nectar. Put that together. And then, so a bunch of, these are from Hawaii. Let me see. Chilean. This is Hawaiian chili peppers. Like there's just all sorts of flavors. Anywho, I think that one's, yeah, lemon. That one's delicious. This one's almost gone. So I'll put that one in the kitchen to work through. One of those. Okay, here's another gift. A strawberry rhubarb. Of course there it is. Let's put that with the others. Another little Hawaiian honey. Vanilla bean paste. Let's put that with the extracts. Even though it's vanilla. This is a birch syrup that we rendered down ourselves. Those are great. Then I just have some corn. Oh, look. Another. Let's see. Orange blossom. That one from AZURE. And some corn syrup for baking. There's the open one. I'm going to put the open one in the front. New one's in the back. There we go. Okay, perfect. Ice cream toppings. We're coming up on summer. We're gonna need lots of these. So pineapple, marshmallow. We have some hot fudge and some caramel. There we go. Perfect. We can jump over here and these black crates put back up top. You guys, it is literally the washing of every single item. that we own. Anyway, what's in the crates? This is all Aaron's barbecue smoking stuff. And, oh, it's got smoking gloves and different things for his pit barrel. That sort of stuff. Then I try not to use plastic or like throwaway things, paper plates, all of that. However, if we had a power outage, we still barbecue and do all those normal things. So this is like napkins and paper plates and paper cups, that sort of stuff. So I do keep some of that on hand. And then right here is a ton of like plastic silverware. That goes there. This is the most massive pantry project I've ever indulged in. It took me over a year on the channel, sorry that noise, to actually build and fill the pantry, the long-term storage. And we just did it a little at a time as we could. And so to wipe down, wash, like physically wash every single item that I own and clean all of it is totally insane. I already did 2 more boxes. You didn't see, because this video is just going to run on forever at this point. Those are all pastas. So I have 3 entire black totes of pasta, and when we run low, I mostly buy it at Walmart, the Walmart brand. Medium, wide. Medium. Okay, so. Done. Now, this is my 3rd box of pastas, and then I have 1 more tote to go. I've gotten rid of stuff. So we did condense down. We have all those jars I showed you. It's not as full as it was, but it is so clean and so beautiful. I'm so happy, but I still have like the weird things to get in here that aren't so cut and dry. So let me pop these up. We'll keep working. So I had teas and coffees both in this thing and this black crate. These are apple ciders. Sometimes if my grandma runs out of apple juice, I will give her these, and she likes them fine. But I can put them up, and then just if we run out, we use them. But this whole crate here, is all kinds of coffee. There's boxes. Let me show you. So there's tons of teas, some loose leaf teas, some mullein spice, boxes of tea. This is like take along coffee when we go fishing. It's nearly salmon season. So when we go and do that, I love to take like an instant or an easy. We can just heat up some water, have some coffee out there. So I got all this straightened out. I have a couple of things that I keep in the kitchen or down that are easy to reach. This is my current, the last couple of nights I've had mint tea. These are like little vintage boxes. I have a whole bunch of them, but this one I'll keep out. And then this one is full of whatever current teas as well that I'm into. So we have some more mint, and then the boxed type teas are in here. Let's see, this was originally a grape nuts little container, and then this one was Heinz pearls. Were those onions? Like, I seem to believe that those had to been, I don't know what Heinz pearls were. If you know, let me know, but I think it's really cool. But it's full of like sweeteners that you can take along. So, perfect. I'm not gonna lie, I have a little decision fatigue at this point, and my hands are starting to kill me from all the water. Didn't put the gloves on like I should. But right here on this shelf that you can't see that I'm pointing at, the tall shelf, the super tall shelf, is where I put these gallons of oils. And let's see what we have. So we have some coconut oil. I'll have to get the ladder. My honey comes in bags from Hawaii, the big bulk honey, not these specialty honeys that we did. And then I saved these honey jars from AZURE because I used to get it at AZURE, and then relabel it. And then I have to have a container. So I saved this in order for it to hold the new honey bags. So it comes in 5 1-gallon bags with some molasses. We have some red wine vinegar and then a bunch of alcohols that I'm going to stick up there. So let me shove those. All right. And then molasses and the vinegar. And then the alcohols are mostly for like tinctures that I make. So we'll just shove these back here. I do not like the taste of, so this is a vanilla. That one was started in 2023. We've used some of it, refilled our jars with some of it, as well as this one's probably really good. It was made with a Canadian whiskey. So that's vanilla. This is not alcohol. Well, it is alcohol, which is how you make vanilla. So, and then we have some homemade vanillas. So this is what all that vodka is for. We have these kind of someone made raspberry cello. I didn't care for it, but they gave it to Cody as a gift. So these were started in 2022. I think they're still good. Anyway, more vanilla. And then Destiny, I don't know where she got that. She was on vacation somewhere and for whatever reason they gave him a bottle of wine. Anyway, so Aaron came home way early. So he's been here over an hour, which is not normal. He doesn't generally get home until much, much later. And he asked me if I was at a good stopping point for tonight. And so I think I am. I got most of it. I'll show you where we're at. Okay, so all that's up there. We have plenty of space there. Completely full on the jams and jellies. We combined all those together. This was jams and jellies and then sprinkles on this side. So we moved all that around. So we have the honeys and corn syrups, ice cream toppings, some more jams and jellies, and my 2 totes. So all that, baking. This makes more sense. It's not as cute to look at, but that is a great shelf. And then all dried fruit, all chocolate and nuts, minus we got to fill this one with the walnuts. Then stepping over here, I have more jars. So all pasta, even in the center up there is pasta. All legumes, so beans and peas. Nothing. Woohoo! Nothing there. And then I have 3 more jars here of rices and other things that I found that need to be clean. More pasta. And then everything having to do with tea, coffee, sweeteners, some mix-ins, spices and corn, Aaron's spice rack, the regular spice rack, and then the big spice rack. And that is it for today. Okay, so we still have this giant disaster that I made to deal with. A whole box of stuff that needs put away. Crazy. Dirty dogs. Dirty dogs. All of those jars are put away. I have some odds and ends here that I need to deal with, but for the most part, we have gotten at least, it's always worse before it's better, isn't it? I have some weird jars and stuff that I washed, and I'm not sure if they're gonna go back in the pantry or not. So they're questionable, so they're set to the side. But that is it. It's 6:30 at night, and I'm gonna go hang out with Aaron for a little bit. We'll pick this back up tomorrow. It is already 3:50 in the afternoon before I am picking up the camera. And what ended up happening today is I had to run to town this morning. The place that I get the stuff, aside from Amazon, to Seed Star, they have some trays. I'm walking over here to show you. I had to run get these. They're not open over the weekend, and I have some, like the tomato plants and the tomatillos and so on. They need to be upplanted super, super bad. And I think the hardest part of projects like this, painting the whole house, is the absolute mutilation, the destruction of the home in the process. So since Tuesday, there has been stuff everywhere. Like even trying to make a dinner when we didn't have a single cabinet open. All of that is so difficult. So today I decided, you know what? I'm gonna clean and then I'm gonna finish the other half of the pantry. That isn't gonna happen because it's already 4 in the afternoon. And other than pulling some jars off, I haven't done that. So I just wanted to show you, this is what I did. I mopped the floor. I have all the paint stuff sitting over here, ready to go. And I will pick up this project next week because I'm trying not to overwhelm myself. But we did get this whole side finished. And then there's some stuff that I am deciding on. Like right here is some food stuff. It doesn't quite fit like maybe it should. You know, I have some iced tea sitting out, a couple of different things. But for the most part, it is scrubbed. It is clean. It is brand new painted. Most of the food is full. There needs to be very little kind of purchase to fill in some gaps, those sort of things. And what I started doing this morning is filling the boxes with empty jars. So I have 4 boxes of empty jars. Do you guys remember, anyone that's followed me, this side of the pantry, once upon a time, I didn't own a jar that was not canned up with something in it. And now I have huge amounts of empty jars, just kind of moving all those to the basement, the canning stuff. And then when we head into canning season, we will, like, I'm literally looking over here. Look. I'll just shove jars into the shelf wherever I pull them from. And like this whole shelves here are like all of this, more here, empty. So we have ate through a ton of stuff, and then there's some stuff that we need to get to. And then I'm going to do this side of the pantry next week, and it shouldn't take me more than a day, 2 days. I gave myself 4 days to do this, and it is gonna end up being a 6-day project. And this was massive amount of work, but I am so proud of myself. I'm so proud. I'm sweating because I just finished mopping the floor. I'm hot, I am tired. I want to jump in the shower and just head into a weekend with Aaron. But yeah, bringing it full circle. So hate to leave you with it, but I'm gonna have to leave you with, I did the best I could. I got as far as I could, and I need to just head in because Aaron and I are going to do so much outside work. It is gonna be in the 50s this weekend. We have the Mini X here. We have some major stuff to do. So I need to kind of rest and chill and not have my whole house blown up. So I hope you guys understand, and I also hope that you enjoyed this week's video. As an update on the volcano, nothing has happened. There's the steam and everything is still emitting from it. We are still on alert, waiting for it to erupt, because they're still saying it's inevitable, it's going to erupt, but there's just no updates with the volcano right now. So we just keep trucking along and trying to finish getting everything that we can, but also not overwhelming our house, our homestead, our family. So I hope you enjoyed with that. I hope, if you haven't yet, that you would be willing to hit that subscribe button. If you'll ring the bell, you get notifications when we post videos. Thumbs up and comments, sharing videos, all of those things help our channel to grow, and I appreciate those of you that participate in all of those things. As always, I hope that you're blessed. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I hope that I get to see you again. So with that, have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.